Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Hallow Sees It review. Today, I am reviewing Way Too Many Cats. This is a game designed by Carla Kopp, illustrations by Elise Hines, published by Weird Giraffe Games, and it is for 1 to 6 players, taking about 45 minutes to an hour, ages 10 and up. So, Way Too Many Cats. Catchy name, fun. I have to tell you, so with my recent review games, so this game, just to get this out of the way, this game was provided to me for free for purposes of this video review. And with all the other games that I have recently received, I tell you, I had these in a stack, and this one definitely caught the eye of my two kids, right? Both of them just kind of really latched onto it. Like, what is this game? Like, love cats and anything like super cutesy, right? So this one definitely drew their attention with the name and the artwork and things like that. It really was one. They're like, oh, I want to play Way Too Many Cats. So definitely had that going for it as we went into this and played this together, four of us as a family. So what I'm going to do is just kind of run through and talk about the things that we liked about it, some of the things that we found lacking a little bit for us, and just some of the other general comments that about Way Too Many Cats. This is, I believe, it was a Kickstarter and is recently becoming available. So, with that being said, let's dive into it. This is not going to be a how-to play, but I am going to be talking about certain mechanics in the games and the components and things like that to help facilitate, my thoughts of the game itself and the review that way. So let's get into the first pro here of the components. I think the components of the game are excellent. So as far as the artwork goes, this I think we were actually split decision on this a little bit. I think my kids really like the artwork, and some really cute artwork. Again, the cover and everything, very cute. The bottom portion of the box is they had some nice detailing on the side there as well. Just really excellent. The graphic design on the box itself was great. I think the artwork is fun, but not necessarily for everybody. But I think it was good. The quality of the components. Let's talk about the components here. There are 6 different player boards here. They're excellent quality. They are a nice linen finish to it. They are double-sided. Not that they necessarily needed to be, but because they are the same on each side. But that is, you have those player boards. You also had these kitten scoring boards, which also had dual purpose to them as well. So it's very nice that they included this to help kind of keep track of kitten scoring, because you score for either having a set of all 7 of the different types. You get 15 points for every one of those, or you can score 8 points for having 4 of the same kind. On the other side are the solo game scoring, some solo game scoring information. They're also included on the back of the rule book here. But this is was a nice feature, right? I like when I see double use of things. So they had the solo game. There's different ways that you can play with certain rival shelters that change the gameplay there. I don't necessarily like solo games that kind of run with these choice games. Like, they really excel multiplayer, in my opinion. This solo version with this game, though, I think is good. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, and like if I look for a solo game experience, I don't know that I'm gonna necessarily go to Way Too Many Cats. However, I I actually thought that the solo mode worked well in this game. So it's functional, and it provides a good gaming experience. So I think it definitely deserves to have the solo on there. Again, may not be for everybody, but I think in general it worked well. The cats are generally, I mean, we have starter cats and most of these others, the gray background. Again, I think, iconography and everything works really well. So really you have these different types of cats with these iconography that help with triggering the scoring. But the cats visually are also color, their color matches the type, right? So this one has all three, whereas this one is just the white color cat on there. So you'll see different range in things here. So we have that. They have cutest names. So this is another big pro. When I asked, my family members, what did you like about Way Too Many Cats? A resounding everyone complimented the names of the cats. So there are a lot of cats in this game. How many? The 128 different cat cards, 10 of them being starter cats. And I thought this was pretty clever. They had all the starter cats are cat in a different language. And so I thought that was very cool as well. So they just did a really great job with the cat names. A lot of Star Wars references here. We have this one came out. I was like, no way, that's awesome. So we have Mando and Grogu. There's also, I know it's in the rule book here too. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's just really fun. So some of the cats also had multiple. So like this one here, this is actually 2 of the black cats. So you have those iconography and the artwork and everything matches up really well. There are some duplicates as far as like the poses and like the cat color. So I think I saw a couple of those, but and there's another Star Wars one. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so seeing all that, I was like, that is awesome. So I really love them. My family really loved them. We have Lando Calrissian, which I snagged in the first game we played. Again, there's Ewok. There's a bunch of other things and probably some other references that I may be missing, but I think Carla is a Star Wars fan, so I really like the naming of the cats. That was a really big plus for all of us. So again, it's a little thing, but really fun. The iconography and everything on the cats, I think, worked really well as too. There's, major scoring elements. You can either just get, this is a straight up 2 points. This one here, it would be worth 2 points if you have like this cat bed. If you're able to get one of these cat beds to give Merida here, then they would score 2 points with that. So I think the components wise, everything's pretty clear. They included this scoring pad, which is awesome because there's all sorts of different ways to score. Each of the different types of cats score depending on, the type in your shelter here, how they're arranged. The white cats actually just are straight up points always, but like these ones want to be next to these other cats and they get points. These cats want different cats surrounding them. These ones you want like a big group. You want them all connected. You also score points for kittens and things. We'll get into some more of that, but there are a lot of different things going on. Component-wise, let me just finish with this. So we had some awesome, I believe this was meant to be a starter token, and then maybe it got like an upgrade or something. I'm not positive, but this is a huge cat meeple, which is just really cool. It's got a great paint job on it, and very, very big, very nice, visual reminder to who the starting player was. As soon as someone finishes filling up their shelter, everyone will have the same amount of turns, but that round will end. And so this is a good visual reminder, reminders that you have available. Very, very cool. They also have these nice player reference cards. There was one little thing. They're very, very helpful, pretty thorough on here as well. And they're a nice cardboard punch out. So very, very nice on that. There was one thing that I thought was interesting that we were like, oh man, we confused us just a little bit, because I remember reading it. It was the scoring of this one here, the orange ones. In the book, it says 2 for each adjacent cat or kitten of type that. And on the reference card, it says 2 per adjacent cat, maximum of 6. And all the others have cat, kitten. And so it threw us off a little bit. We're like, oh, wait, is that just the cat? And then we looked in the rule book. So that confused us just for a little bit. But that was kind of the only rule question and thing on the reference where I was like, oh, I wish we had cat, kitten on there too to help us remember. But anyway, everything else component-wise, like I said, the components are all great quality. They have the nice linen finish there. The cardboard cutouts are very good quality as well. They even have a fun cat on the picture of a cat on the back, which again, they didn't need to. So there's a lot of little things like that I think just worked really well. With the cats, I think the kittens, these little tokens, some people may struggle or have a hard time seeing that. There's color and symbols associated with them in the background, kind of as like a wallpaper to them. I didn't have any issues. I thought it worked well, but some people may have a little bit of a struggle with that. Includes this bag, which is a really nice, thick, quality bag, and it's got the logo on it. Just really, really nice quality bag. Some of these bags can be, very kind of afterthought, or you can tell that they just went bare minimum. Whereas this bag is really, really nice quality, as are the tokens here. And you have a lot of them. If I reference back to, we have 128 cat cards, and then there are, it doesn't say. I don't remember. There are a large amount of kitten/toy tokens here that you'll shuffle up and pull out. So components are great. Talked a lot about that. Let's get into the actual gameplay a little bit. So one of the other things we really liked about Way Too Many Cats is the actual core mechanic of getting cats and kittens and toys and how they all score. So on your turn, basically you are given the choice. There's going to be these different piles of tokens, and there's always going to be, you start with 1, 2, and 3. And after someone chooses one of these, you're going to add 1 token to each pile again. And then it'll be the next player's turn. So there's always going to be a one with the least amount of tokens, middle amount of tokens, and the most, right? And you have, these are the starter cats. Everyone will have a starter cat in there. And on your turn, you're basically going to choose and look between all of the things. You may be looking for certain cats to help with your scoring here. All the starter cats have like special scoring. So like this one here, 4 of the basic starting cats are going to just give you straight up points for having that type of cat anywhere in your grid will get 2 points. So it kind of gives you that, hey, we want to gather, I'm going to want mostly black cats, as those will give me 2 points for every one I can get. And they're weighted a little bit, I imagine, for like how often you see the different types of cats. So white cats are definitely felt more common to me, so that's why I imagine they're plus they always score 2 points. They're not dependent on like locations. So that's, I think, probably why they chose not to give 3 points as well, starting out for that. There's more advanced starter cats where you basically are scoring for the least amount. So you're trying to get both of these because you will score 2 points for the least one. So if you had, like 6 black ones and 4 white ones, you're going to be scoring 2 points for those 4 white ones for 8 points. So you working to gather 2 types of cats and taking the second most category. And I really like that type of scoring mechanic. So the starter cats are really good scoring wise there. So how do you actually get the cats? So if you choose the token group with the least amount of tokens, you get to choose any 2 cats. Pretty significant, right? So getting 2 cats, any of those 4, pretty big deal. You're only getting 1 token. If you choose the one that has the medium amount of tokens, the one in the middle, you can choose 1 cat, any 1 cat. So you still have the freedom. You're getting 2 things, 2 tokens, but you're limited to 1 cat. If you choose the pile that has the most tokens, you have to take the furthest to the right cat. You don't have a choice. So it's very interesting because that's one of the things I like about the Way Too Many Cats is the choices and the mechanics of getting it, because it provides some really interesting decisions. Now, kittens score points for having these in groups, but if you don't have it in a group of 7 or in a group of 4 of the like kittens, it's going to score you -2 for each of those. There is another way that you can add kittens to these little spots in your shelter, and it can hold up to 4 kittens. And this can help either score some of the other cats, or it also is no negative points. So if you have them in here, they're not scoring negative points, but so it does help, but it does take up a spot in your shelter. It provides a lot of interesting decisions. Maybe I want or need this specific cat right here, this kitten. I need it for completing my 7. Maybe that's going to drive my decision to take this. And then I have a choice of, I could choose any 1 cat. These are very powerful, right? Because they're going to score 3 different ways, help score 3 different ways. But it is a little picky, right? It wants a bed. If you don't provide it a bed, it is -2 points for this cat at the end of the game. You'll still be able to score these other ways, but there's the cats with more symbols on them are going to have a little bit more of a restriction. Either they need this sort of toy, or hey, they want to be in the corners, or different placement. There's different versions of that. So like this one here, you'll see if it's in the top 2 rows, you get -2 points. So it's going to want to go in the bottom. That one, the top and bottom would be minus points. And I did try to shuffle these up, and we played with them once, but I think I still need to shuffle them a little bit more. But you can see there's different ones. This one's not a negative points, but to get the 3 points, they need that bed. This one here, you actually need to have 2 beds, 1 for each of the cats, right? You get 5 points for that if you're able to do that. So there's cats that are going to want certain toys, so maybe that's going to help drive your decision as well. So let's say I really want to start the game off right, and let's say I have this one here. I really want to grab this one and this one here. Some multiple types, some powerful cats, right? So I'm going to take this one, take these cats here. You have to immediately place the cats. That's one thing that my kids, when I was saying, hey, what do you like about this game? They didn't like being forced to choose where these go, but that's part of the decision making of the game, right? And that makes that interesting. So again, you're thinking about how these different types of cats score will help figure out where you will want to place these in your grid. When you place them, they're there. You can't move them the rest of the game. These tokens are going to really go off to the side of your board here, and you can place these at later times. Now, obviously, got this, and I actually got the toy that this one wanted. If I didn't get negative points, so I'm going to actually just move that onto the cat now, so that I do not forget that Ewok is now a happy cat and giving me lots of cuteness points here already with the 2 points there. I have 2 browns matched up, which is going to help score that. Different groupings, so I already have 3 points from the browns here. I have 2 white cat symbols, so I'm going to be getting 2 points each from each of those. I think that's a really good opening move. So now, at the end of my turn, what happens is we shift any of these over to the right. We turn this over and fill up the rest of that. And then we go in our little bag, shake it up, pull out 1 token, and add to each group. There, I took the last of that, so we have 1 there. And you can see these have now grown in size. Now, the other interesting mechanic and element of this game is really this kind of kitten scoring element. It adds a little bit of a push your luck element, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect those kittens can help provide a lot of extra points. But if you're not careful, you're not managing your space, they can end up being negative points, right? If you're not managing them. And so you kind of have to be like, oh man, do I really want that? Oftentimes we had that where it was like, well, there's cats out here that people really wanted. So you get the lower group taken quite often. A lot of times this could be a lot of points, kind of piling up. But because remember, if you take the largest group, if I decide to take this on my next turn, that's pretty nice. I have 3 different kittens. And so I'm kind of off to a pretty good start at trying to get a set of 7. And I have another cat bed, which there's actually 2 cats out here that are wanting a bed. So that could be good. But now I have to take, I don't have a choice. When you take the largest, you have to take the furthest right. Then those will shift over. This will go there. I will put this there, let's say, and we again draw, and now we're back to this here. So that mechanic, again, not all the specific rules, but really that's the core gameplay, and I think it is really, really cool. I think it's really fun. I asked my son, what did you like about the game? I don't know, it was just really fun, and the cat names. Well, I think the game is that, right? It's the decision making of, okay, do I take this group? Do I do that because I want certain cats? Do I think people are going to take that cat? Maybe I don't think they'll take that because, it'll come back around and it's like, I really don't think anyone's going to take that. So maybe I'll just leave that there and go for, this one and get some other cats. Or maybe it lines up, right? I've waited and it's like, okay, perfect. This is the cat I want, and I want some more kittens, right? So very, very cool. And that push your luck element. There is a lot going on. I mentioned the score pad, which is helpful, very helpful, but you're scoring each of those different cats for those different groupings right here. You're also scoring points for if they're played in the certain area, if they have toys on them or not. So there's a lot of different scoring. At the end, it's very helpful to go through this scoring pad, right? Because it's like, otherwise you'd lose track so easily. I'd give you an idea of score. I mean, we in our game we ranged, what was it? We ranged from 112 points to 153, and there is a different way that you can score. Going back to the solo mode. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place, but I want to touch on all the points here. So you can play against, in the solo mode, a rival shelter and actually see who wins. You can also kind of compete in a way where you are you're playing solo and the rival shelter is taking the cats, but you're not actually scoring them in kind of the traditional way. You're just comparing your score to the chart. And really we ranged in all of that, right? So we had people not less than 110. I guess we were 112, but 153. So it kind of gives you a good idea going into the game of how many points. But there's so many different ways to get points, and so it's a pretty crunchy game. There's a lot of things going on, right? So I think that's where kind of the age, where it says 10 and up on the box, is good. I think it's right on, and yet it can still be a little bit much for some audiences, for some people, even adults, right? It's very cute. The theme and everything seems very, it's very relatable. If you have cat lovers or whatever, they may be like, oh yeah, this is a really awesome game. Let's try it out, thinking that it's much lighter than it is. Again, it's not that it's really that complex or complicated in decisions, but there's so much going on that it can be overwhelming to some people. And like my daughter, for example, she was just like, it's not my type of game, right? And I think that's where it's like there's just a lot going on, and she really just wanted to focus on getting, really mainly the starter cat matching the same type, right? It's like, I'm going to get all of these types. So that is kind of a little bit of a, I want to call it a downside, but it's to be known going into this, right? That there is a lot of elements to this. It's not like a real simple scoring game. So there's a lot going on, a lot to consider. That was the other element, is you have to start considering the end game earlier on as well, because as this fills up and you're realizing, oh boy, guess what? I have way too many cats. Very apt in the naming of this game. You're like, oh my word, I only have 3 spots left in my shelter, and I have all these kittens that are going to be scoring me a bunch of negative points. I need to start making sure that I have time, and how many do I need? Do I need put 8 and take up 2 of these, or like, where am I at? Because you get into the situation very quickly where it's near the end of the game and you're like, oh no, I was going to try to get this cat there, but I now have all these kittens. And so it's really, I enjoy that element, right? Some people I think are really going to enjoy this because it's a very meaty game as far as the decision making and with the end scoring in mind. Others could be just kind of play and be like, oh yeah, I did what I could and I did okay. Others, it's just going to be overwhelming to them, right? So we've covered that. as well. I really like the player count on this is 1 to 6. So very, very cool that it broadens that gameplay. Again, solo, very functional. I like it with the multiple players best, and the fact that it goes from up to 6 players is really cool. So that's good. The what else? We also had the. I think that was about it. So very cool game. Way too many cats. Excellent quality components. Very cool gameplay here with kind of this push your luck, grab cats, depending on what you choose here. Impacts how many cats and if you can choose or if you have to take that one. And there's a lot of scoring elements going on, which could be a real plus for some people, could be a little overwhelming for others. Very, very cool. Just this awesome meeple. You have this high quality bag. I was just really, really impressed with Way Too Many Cats. I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed the game mechanics and everything. I think it's just overall a great game, great packaging. I'd probably rank it 7 or 8 out of 10. It's just a really, really well done game. And I think I'd probably stick it at like an 8. It's, I think, really, really good. It's very accessible. You just have to kind of understand your audience as far as, the simplicity and everything. It's very playable at that kid age, and the strategies can be very understanding. There's just a lot going on, so I think that's the biggest thing that I would kind of caution people on, or not even caution, let people know, right? That it's definitely has a lot going for it, and a lot going on. But I enjoy these types of games because I can play this type of game with my kids, but there's that added level where they can just enjoy it by playing it, going through the motions, collecting the cats, laughing at the cat names, and oh, this one's so cute, I want that cat. And yet the adults who are playing, family game, the adults that are playing can really kind of focus on the strategy of the scoring and think about the end game scoring and push through. And it was really kind of cool to, in closing, just to see that, I'll leave that there, to see that my son, who was the most excited about the game, again, in my pile of review games, he's like, I want to play this one. And we got it open, he read the rules, and so he was really, really stoked getting into it, and he actually ended up with the high score of 153 points. He just had made some really good choices and decisions, and so that was really, really cool to see. Was the youngest in my family, who was most excited to get into this, won the game, and did it pretty substantially, right? It was 153. The next highest was 124. He just did really well. So really good to see that. And it wasn't like just luck, right? It was because he was making strategic decisions. And so I think Way Too Many Cats is a great game. If this is something that sounds good to you, go ahead and check it out. Again, this is published by Weird Giraffe Games. I was trying to find their logo on the outside of the box. It must be on the bottom. Usually I see it otherwise, but Weird Giraffe Games logo right there. Great family game. We got Christmas, the holidays coming up. I think this is a great option for you. Thanks for checking out this review. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel as well. And I'm getting more and more reviews out. and so stay tuned. We're going to keep these more consistent moving forward as well, especially with the holidays coming up. We're going to play, get through more games, and give you good detailed reviews on each of them as we get through them. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time. And you want to be careful because you don't want to end up with way too many cats. Thanks, everybody. That is how Lou sees it.